Many enter adulthood like sitting down for Monopoly without reading the rules. You roll the dice, but have no strategy for investment. Without understanding the game, the default strategy is working harder. We push 12-hour days, ignoring limits, leading to total burnout. I found the testing ground for this struggle in the Bronx. I spent over a year working as a door-to-door salesman, walking through these neighborhoods to see if my effort would actually translate into success. In the field, the structured advice found in self-improvement books often feels disconnected from the unpredictable reality of the streets. Surviving the chaos of the real world requires more than effort. It requires mastering 3 foundational pillars of reality. If you don't study them, the world will force you to learn them through failure. The first pillar is your biology. Understanding how your body processes fuel, specifically the relationship between carbohydrates and insulin, determines your daily energy levels. Your professional goals are entirely dependent on this biological engine. I tested this by attempting a strict zero-carb keto diet during a grueling 12-hour sales shift. I was working in an isolated residential area with no restaurants or stores, just rows of houses and miles of walking. To keep my energy up, I brought a box of pork rinds. They are pure fat and protein, which I thought was the perfect fuel for keto. I ate 4 bags while walking my route, but I ignored the limit of what a human stomach can actually digest. My body eventually revolted. With no public restrooms in sight, I had to abandon my role as a salesman, knock on a stranger's door, and beg a father and son to let me use their bathroom. Even though I managed to close a sale with them afterward, the lesson was clear. The moment your biological foundation fails, your career goals and sales targets become irrelevant. The second pillar is primal psychology. Our brains evolved for survival in the wild, leaving us with instincts that trigger long before our conscious minds can process a threat. One afternoon, I was assigned to a massive apartment complex in the South Bronx. It was a bright, sunny day, and I felt confident in my suit, which usually made people treat me like a government worker or a social worker. I took the stairs to the top floor to start my route. As soon as I entered the empty hallway, I felt a sudden wave of dread. My skin crawled, and I had the distinct sensation of being watched. I trusted that feeling and immediately headed back down to the lower floors. On the second floor, a resident told me that a few years earlier, another salesperson had been invited into an apartment on that top floor, murdered and dismembered. Psychological study is often framed as a way to increase productivity, but developing your intuition provides a necessary defense against physical threats in the real world. The third pillar is the social and financial game. While wealth follows formal rules and economic laws, the actual flow of money is driven by human values and personal connections. Studying the biographies of successful founders shows that they rarely win by following a rigid corporate script. They succeed because they know how to adapt their mindset to the person standing in front of them. I experienced this at the very end of a long day. I knocked on a final door, gave my standard internet sales pitch, and was met with an immediate no. As the prospect started to close the door, I saw a massive projector screen in his living room playing Game of Thrones. I stopped the sales pitch and just started talking to him about the episode. He invited me in, and we spent the next hour getting high and watching the battle at the wall. I didn't push the contract that day, but we became friends. A few weeks later, he signed up for the service just to help me out, helping me earn over $300 for the week. Financial success rarely comes from acting like a robot. It comes from reading the room and finding a way to connect with human behavior. Self-development is the process of taking the information you find in a book and testing it against the chaos of the field. Books provide the necessary rules for the game. They explain the mechanics of your diet, the evolutionary triggers in your brain, and the laws of finance. But the real world will immediately test those rules to see how your foundation holds up. Stop playing the game of life blindly. Read the rules and study the masters, but you must be prepared to trust your gut and adapt when you finally step out into the field.